We shall now take a look at recognizing signs. As we have seen from our studies thus far, abuse is both varied and complex. The abusive treatment of a child may be very obvious, such as being beaten or physically hurt. It is more likely, however, that abusive treatment will be subtle or even invisible to detect. Abuse is a negative, harmful, and illegal act. Due to its very nature, it is inflicted in a sinister but clever way by the abuser and is usually not obvious to others. Abuse can be difficult to recognize, as children are prone to lots of accidental injuries, such as falls, which can make it more difficult to decide whether injuries are a result of an accident or because of abuse. Injuries resulting from accidents are often close to the bony prominences of the body, like shins, foreheads, knees, and elbows. Injuries, which may be non-accidental, often include injuries that occur frequently, such as lots of bruising or cuts, some of which may look like finger marks and may be in unusual locations on the body. With physical abuse, there are visible signs, such as cuts and bruises, that alert you to the fact that abuse is happening. There are, however, many other signs of abuse that are much less obvious. It is essential that you are able to recognize some of the less obvious signs of abuse, as described above, so that abuse can be quickly identified and corrective action taken to minimize the likelihood of it recurring. One of the easier ways to start to develop skills in recognizing the signs of the abusive treatment of children is to look at real-life examples. David's story. David has been to the local casualty department on several occasions. On one occasion, David has a rash on his skin, which his mum thought was meningitis. David is an active child, plays sports, and has sustained quite a few injuries, cuts, and bruises of late. David is very advanced for his age and is one of the best readers in the class. He is a naughty boy and is prone to shouting and behaving badly if he doesn't get his own way. David's mum now has a new baby, and last week she brought baby Maria to hospital for a checkup because she had tripped over David's skateboard whilst carrying Maria and fell, resulting in banging Maria's head. David's mum explained this was just a precautionary visit, as she just wanted the hospital to make sure her head was not injured. When the nurse looked at the records, she started to get an uneasy feeling. Do you think David's mum is overprotective of her child? Do you think that David's behavior is a sign that he may be suffering some form of abuse? Do you think that David is just an average child who is prone to accidents? Here are a series of statements which are either true or false. Not all have been covered in the learning materials. You may need to undertake some research, maybe using the internet, to decide which statements are true and which are false. We shall not provide you with the answers, as some of them may appear as questions in your final assessments. 1. Bullying is a form of child abuse. 2. Abuse only happens in underprivileged homes. 3. Children are unlikely to report abuse. 4. Children with disabilities are more likely to suffer abuse. 5. Babies under 1 year are more at risk of abuse. 6. In the UK, children are more likely to be killed in their own home by family members than in any other part of society. 7. Smacking is illegal in the UK.